At the time of taping, Louie Osteen was holding forth at his grill in the Charleston Place Hotel. He has since opened a 115-seat restaurant in Charleston and plans another operation in Charlotte, North Carolina. He shows an affinity for Southern cuisine with grouper and rice with poblano peppers.
Well, the first thing we do is we put a little butter in the pan to warm, into which we're going to, or with which we're going to saute the rice. Turn that up. Let that melt. I may have put a little bit too much. Usually when I air with butter, it's on the side of excess. Funny how that works. We just fed some butter to the fire. That's good. All right. We're going to have that. We're going to put in the shallot. And we're going to put in the chilies, the poblano chilies in this case. We're going to let those cook for a few minutes. We will give them a stir. We have the hot stock already hot, and I'm going to add to that now. I'm going to add a half a bay leaf and a little bit of fresh thyme and let those sort of macerate for a little while, and it'll make the flavor a little bit better. The peppers are cooking. This is a spicy dish. Rice was the central part of the commerce of Charleston for a number of years. In fact, Charleston used to be the largest producer of rice in the country until about the beginning of this century, at which time a series of disasters, both natural and unnatural, took care of the rice business down here. So now I think it's California and Texas. There's only one producer of Carolina Gold, a small farm in South Carolina that makes the old rice the old way. All right, that's cooked. Now we're going to add the rice. And we're going to stir the rice, coat it well. Let that cook for 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going to begin to reduce the heat a little bit because it shouldn't be too hot at this point. Now that's cooked, and I've banged on it sufficiently. We're going to then take it off the heat, pour in the hot stock. It needs to come to the simmer, but not too fast. Be tasted for salt, tasted for pepper, and at this point we're going to sprinkle in just about a half cup of vermouth, just for its perfume. This is going to come back to the simmer. We're going to cover it and put it over here on very low heat. This could also go in the oven, but on the top of the stove, I tend not to forget about it quite so much. Now the grouper. The grouper is a wonderful fish. It's a big white fish. It's local to this area, to a lot of areas. The grouper is a big fleshy fish. It has really sweet meat, and this is what we're going to use for our fish. We're going to put a little more butter in the pan, and this time we're going to add just a little bit of peanut oil. The peanut oil to fortify the butter so that it doesn't burn while the grouper cooks. Salt, pepper, and just as it starts to color, the foam sort of fades away, we can plop in the grouper. There it is. And while we're here, we're going to just put the a little salt, a little pepper on the backside. That's going to be a good-looking, good-tasting piece of fish. Want to be sure to maintain the heat high enough so that the grouper sautés. You can see the way the bubbles pop around. You can hear it. If you get the flame too low, it cools off. The grouper's going to steam. It'll probably stick to the pan. So don't be timid with your heat. That's something I think that a lot of people do. They're a little bit afraid to put the right amount of heat. But go ahead and blast it away. It'll work good.
Sliced shiitake mushrooms are sautéed in a little butter.
Be careful not to slice them too thin because they'll break because they're delicate. It's looking good. I'm going to sprinkle a little, just a couple of drops of white wine there, or vermouth. And at this point, we add just about a half cup of broth.
The mushrooms are finished with chicken stock and salt and pepper.
Rice with lots of peppers. It's real aromatic. You'll see if you try it at home. It's nice and moist. I guess you put as much or little as you like. Next, we take the grouper out. Put it right on the pan, or right on the towel there just for a second, just to take any pan grease off that we don't want to have on the plate. Put the grouper like so. This is just a little bit of sauce that goes on just around the edges. And so, there's our grouper.